This episode is brought to you by Cheers Mate Canberra Lager. Use promo code TRUEBLUE, that's TRUEBLUE, at checkout for free shipping and $15 off your order. For all the details, head to truebluejames.com. Cheers, mate.
James's house, welcome to James's house. What can we learn today?
Hello, welcome to James's house. On this episode, we have Felix McCarthy. He's a comedian and was also a public servant. Take it away, Jimbo. Oh, hey Felix, welcome to my house.
Hey James, thanks for having me.
It's a beautiful house, isn't it?
It is
this
quite
house
nice.
that I own.
I do like the decor, yeah.
The
It's quite
decor?
nice.
Yeah, what do you like about the decor?
Oh, it's a bit rustic.
It's a bit rustic.
It's a bit antique.
Just because it's from 2008 doesn't mean that it's antique.
Well, that's rustic in my opinion. You know, it's got a bit of an aged quality, which I appreciate. Such as, that's your abode, and that's very respectable. You introduced me as well as a public servant, which I didn't really appreciate. I feel as though there's a bit of a don't ask, don't tell factor of a Canberran existence.
Oh, really?
Which you didn't really have to address, because I feel sufficiently far more cool, far less cool, far more of a loser, far less cool as a result. But
No, I think, that's what you get for having these careers. You have to fucking... If you don't like, the things that you do, then you shouldn't do those things.
yeah, well, it's more just the veneer of being like a groovy dude is
Oh, you're still very
depreciated,
groovy.
Severely depreciated as a result.
Yeah, I know heaps of groovy public servants. There's like James Brown. He's a public servant.
Singer.
Yeah, James Brown.
Yeah.
He
That was more of a musical contribution. That was his public service.
Yeah, public servant.
I don't know about...
Get down!
I don't know about anyone else. Anyway, yeah, Department of Rhythm, Department of Groove. Anyway, yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's a bit of a bad skin day for me at the moment.
What's wrong?
I feel as though I've got a lot of blemishes. I've been hit with a lot of blemishes lately.
Where do they come from?
Oh, I just think poor skincare routine. And so, that in the short run, like, smouldering good looks have just been ruined for about 5 days.
5 days.
5 days until
Do you have a skincare routine?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Neither do I.
I do shower.
Yeah, that's a skincare.
I do bathe. Sorry, I'll use a technical. I know this is a podcast. I'll use a technical term.
Yeah,
I do
please.
bathe.
Yeah.
Bathe regularly. But
In a bath?
no, shower. I live in quite a modern apartment, with quite a narrow shower, so I don't really have space to let water pool and collect.
Do you have a sink?
So I can't really submerge myself. I don't think that's equipped for my general width, height.
But depth?
Depth.
Absolutely.
Depth is also insufficient. I'm afraid. But I don't know. Go in the lake. Jump in the lake.
What's your favourite Canberra lake?
Possibility. Is it hack to say Burley Griff?
No, not hack.
Is it hack to say that?
No, absolutely not. What do you love about it?
Well, it's just arbitrarily designed. They just wanted to flood a valley. They just thought they would be mad. Like it's very reflecting the time that they for the ego purposes they needed like an ornate large pond, so a large body of water, where I don't know at the time. There's like National Film and Sound Archive. They've got like a doco on it and stuff.
Oh really? I'd love to watch
and
it.
they were obsessed with like sailing. They thought everyone would be fishing. They had
No one fishes there.
Well, some.
But
like,
what do
they
you
had
catch?
Fish probably, but like they had a different conceptualization of like what it would be, I think, at the time, and I think due to mainly, I'm just spitballing, but maybe the general decline of Western civilization has meant that just people just don't want to fish there as much, don't want to go yachting there as much. Kids are less excitable in that regard for the outdoors. For the undigitised world. as some scholars refer to it.
Which scholar?
Some scholars.
Some scholars.
Non-specific.
Non-specific.
That wasn't like some scholars colon where I was going to like list them.
Okay.
I'm not going to play into your gotcha tactics. Look, I know you're a hard-hitting interviewer, but it's not going to fly with me.
I mean, you're avoiding the question, but which scholars would call the undigitised thing? You know, it's very easy to dodge a question like that. But if you're going to bring it up, why bring it up?
Well, if you're going to take one of these scholars that I mentioned and then start drilling into one of them,
How will you?
it seems as though you've prepared them yourself in advance.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me what list you've done background checks on?
Well, James Brown, for example, he was one of the first to call the undigitised world.
He's known a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Aside from music, he just he's just researching a lot of things in his spare time, in his downtime. People thought it was all just like dance moves and singing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he did look into that a lot. But that's your assertion in this conversation. I'm not really going to get into the James Brown of it all.
Yeah.
It's not really my forte.
I wouldn't expect you to either, frankly, because that's for people who...
I'm pretty tight-lipped, yeah. I'm pretty tight-lipped. Yeah.
You like conflict, you told me before.
I like conflict.
Yeah, you said that.
What makes you think that?
You said you liked it. You said you actually liked it.
What gives you the balls to say something so brazen to my face?
Well, you said it to me.
While our knees are so close to each
They're
other.
not that close.
I don't know if this is being filmed at all, but my knuckles are borderline white while I'm gripping my fists together in pure rage. I like conflict, you think?
Well, I don't think you said it to me. You said, I actually like conflict.
I think I'm a naturally argumentative person to my own fault.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's a good thing.
Okay.
I like to think I'm self-aware about it. I do like to, poke the hornet's nest a little bit. And see what hornets may emerge.
Should we put that into a song?
Yeah, I think.
All right, do you want to reach into my bag of tricks, find something you want to use?
I think I want a really woody instrument
Oh,
like this one.
Yeah, that's good. That's got a dinger on it there.
Yeah, groovy. Real woody sound.
I'll just play the guitar.
All right.
Let's do it in a classic.
Cool. Can you just do like a sort of rhythm that's not fucked?
Yeah.
So I can try and work in.
I got it.
Because I'm a bit of a session musician myself.
Oh yeah. So just give me
And
some.
I just want to let's just make this.
You just want to groove.
Let's just make this work out.
Just make this work. Cool, no worries.
Yeah. Don't poke the hornet's nest.
The hornet's nest. Don't poke the hornet's nest. The hornet's nest. I once poked the hornet's nest, and outside the hornet's nest out came a hornet. He said, "Hey man, didn't you get the message? You're not supposed to poke the nest." And I said, "Well, sorry, Mr. Hornet Man, I needed to poke it because I can." And I said, "Hey, Mr. Hornet Man, why did you go get fucked?" Wow. 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 Hornet's nest. Great song. That's a great first song.
Do you feel like like we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis and buying anything is really hard? Well, you should head over to truebluejames.com and buy a sticker on a stick. Do you feel like you have everything in the world and that you're a minimalist and don't really want to buy anything? Well, then you should head over to truebluejames.com and buy a sticker on a stick. Do you feel like you want to? Do you feel like you want to feel? Do you feel like you want to feel a part of something way bigger than yourself? Well, then you should head over to truebluejames.com and buy a sticker on a stick. Limited stock supply.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, close that up. We don't want you seeing that thing. Sorry for poking your nest, frankly. You know, I want us to be friends. I want us to have a good time. I know you're the big bad boy boxer, Muhammad Ali, of the comedy scene in Canberra.
Well, I know that's a segue, but to clarify, I am the pokey, the poker of the hornet's nest. I'm not the pokey. It's me eliciting reactions from others.
Yeah.
I consider myself very, very zen, sort of...
Zen?
Zen, yeah, going with sort of the flow of the world, the universe, if you will. I
won't, actually. I don't think it's a universe. I think it's a relational verse. I don't think it's a one thing. I think it's many things connected to many other things. So to call it a universe, I think it's quite reductive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is like a strong hinge point of my philosophical kind of views on the world. So, you know, you saying that...
Well, on the universe, as you would call it.
You saying that, which might be a bit of a benign statement in your mind, is actually incredibly, I won't say offensive, but incredibly confronting.
Yeah.
And gives me a lot to contemplate.
Yeah.
You know, like in the so-called comedy scene,
yeah.
where I do allegedly jokes and stand-up, I think I'm really actually pushing for incremental societal change. Like with so many other forms of protest, where I'm just kind of grandstanding on a sandbox, and people are subjected to listen to me, and you know, that's just that's how I am channeling incremental change in the world. Do
you think activism still works in a post-truth world?
Yeah, I think activism still works. I just think the different flavors for different palates, and by that I mean sometimes where
a kebab.
Sometimes places where what I would call maybe violent revolution is needed. You want to be subjected to just holding placards and hoping that things will change. You know, I'm not an advocate for violence, of course, but.
Were you some kind of pussy?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm a massive pussy. But like, I'm not an advocate. I'm not an advocate for violence. But I'm just saying, in certain instances, people, not me, may think that is the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, I would never suggest shooting someone in the face.
Where would you shoot them?
We start, I think, at the far extremities of the body, and you'd work your way inward. If I was giving advice, which I'm not in the practice of doing, but it depends on how many bullets you've got. Really, we've got
6 bullets. It's a revolver. This is Felix's top 10 tips for shooting somebody with a 6-shot revolver. Guys, have a listen.
So in my self-titled novella. Which is mainly about torture foreplay.
Yeah.
I do like to start with something.
And I must interrupt. Beautiful novella.
Thank you.
It's really touching.
Thank you. It does really show how tantric physical assault can be.
Yeah.
In ways that were never really contemplated. But obviously, okay. So, if I shot off your finger, like your finger, not the tips of your fingers, but just the skin on your fingers.
Yeah.
You'd feel quite threatened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's pretty cosmetic injury.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, but it's still a bit. You're smarting a bit. You're like, that's a bit painful.
Yeah, it would. That's what I think.
I didn't like that. You know, so I got 6 bullets. You know, and I'm like,
well, that's number one.
You know, so I just shoot off the little pads on your fingers.
Oh, ouch! How inconvenient.
Yeah. It's like real kind of. It's like a graze. You know, that real kind of like annoying feeling.
And you're using your fingers all the time, so that would really become quite. Like I said, inconvenient.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the first bullet. out of 6.
Out of 6.
You know, so obviously in the torture recipient's mind, they're sort of like, well, where is this going? You know, is he just going to focus on these kind of far extremities? Like maybe I can handle it. Maybe I can get through this. You know, something like that. You know, and then second bullet, you just shoot them in the abdomen. You know, right in a vital organ.
Which organ? I say you've...
No, just any.
Just
like
any.
It's a...
Kind of depends
Like
on the day.
the whole novella and its torture foreplay aspect is that it is a bit of you choose your own adventure where, you know, shoot him in the heart, page 5.
Yeah.
Shoot him in the kidney, page 4.
Page
you know,
4.
All that, and then you kind of expand the story from there. I'm not like an inherently prescriptive human being. Nothing disgusts me more than celebrity cooks.
Oh.
Who follow through the motions of instructions in a recipe and give me no freedom to decide where we want to go.
Yeah.
You know. But we'll get back. We'll
get back to it. Yeah.
Let's get back to the start.
Are we shooting a celebrity cook?
I don't think the heart's a good idea. That's getting to a fairly fatal zone. Are we shooting?
Especially because it's foreplay.
Are we shooting Jamie Oliver?
Are we shooting Jamie Oliver?
Once again, a court may find that we were advocating that.
Yeah.
If we allowed this conversation to continue in that vein. But as a child, I was compared to Jamie Oliver in my looks. I used to be more fair-haired. And back then he had a TV show where it was called The Naked Chef, right, where he'd cook and stuff.
Would he have clothes on?
No, he'd have clothes on, yeah. But it was
what a confusing name for a show.
It was the early 2000s. I just think debauchery extended even into the most rudimental things like cooking shows. They just couldn't help themselves.
Yeah.
Which is I think in reaction to The Naked Chef.
Because Felix, I may interrupt. If I was to watch a show called The Naked Chef, I've turned on Channel 10.
I am prescribing that as causation for 9/11 as a direct reaction. They saw, you turn on. Maybe you're a bit extremist minded. You turn on a Western TV show. It's The Naked Chef. Something's got to happen. Something's got to happen. You do a bit of flying training.
Yeah, flying training.
You do a bit of US funded flying training. You convince. You manage to just get through a few inconvenient loopholes on part of the US government. But there's direct correlation, and quite a few renowned scholars actually. Sorry, I smiled there because their stories are quite funny and quite. They wrote it in quite a verbose language, a language of brevity. But we'll circle back to me, 4-year-old, being compared to The Naked Chef. Maybe 5, 6 or something like that.
And you had clothes on.
Yeah, I had clothes on. Jamie Oliver had clothes on, but I felt, and it was always roughly middle-aged women making this comparison. The classic
nice.
Women who go, you got to break some hearts someday. That's classic lines that they can get away.
Have you broken any hearts since then?
I think I've mainly the heartbreaker, because I think most people know that I can take it for everyone. So I think I've allowed a Uno reverse to be done every time where no heart was broken.
Nice.
But instead I took that in my chest and and it's like a, what do you call it? Like two negatives make a positive sort of thing.
Maths.
So it got broke.
Yeah.
And then it got re-healed.
Yeah.
It's like a Gondorian sword or something like that in that sense,
Can you explain what a Gondorian sword? Because this is a podcast.
Oh, well, yeah, but it's not some nerd shit, so I don't know if we want to get into that really.
Yeah, we can go anywhere. Look, mate, look where we are.
Look, can we just...
Sorry.
I was talking about the more serious matter of like that...
I'm so sorry.
What I thought was sexualisation as a young child,
Yeah.
in comparison to Jamie Oliver, I think was deeply troubling as a youth. As a ute.
As a ute.
Yeah.
What kind of ute were you, mate?
Carrying a lot of baggage though, mate. A lot of baggage in that rear tray. What has a ute got on the back of it?
Yeah, tray or a tub? Flatbed?
Flatbed. Flatbed full of emotional baggage. What is this? I won't be your naked chef, and I won't turn this plane around. I won't turn this plane I won't turn this plane around. Even if you rescind your comments about calling me the Naked Chef. I know that's the name of his show. I know it's not sexualization, but I still resent that.
Hey sir, can you turn the plane around?
Fuck no, not gonna fucking do it, cunt.
That looks like a pretty busy town.
I don't care, we're all going down.
Oh please, can you turn this plane around?
Shut up, cunt, it's time to die.
Oh, you're so mean, now I'm a friend.
Don't give a fuck, now stare to the sky.
Beautiful. Now, if that's a bloody excuse to watch the video part of this, I don't know what is.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, it's pretty profound of us, eh?
Oh, do you know what it's time for?
What?
It's time for questions from Chloe.
Oh, all right.
So on Instagram today, I said, quick, I need someone to ask me questions. And the only person who messaged was a friend named Chloe.
Oh.
And she asked a lot of questions. So
Cool.
I'm just going to pick a random one. So this one's...
How much do you know about her? Can I ask questions in response?
You can absolutely ask questions in response.
Not to her, though. You've just got to kind of feel...
I can I can be on behalf of Chloe.
Does she run a cooking show?
No cooking show.
Okay, right. Yeah, well, you can...
We can go ahead with this.
I'll let you go.
She is a chef, though.
Oh, she's a chef.
She is a chef.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay, I'm going to ask this one. Which do you think is more prominent in adults, fascism or racism, and why? Thanks, Chloe, for the questions.
I'd say racism. Depends on what we consider as like the bar of entry for racism.
Yeah.
Like, is that just standard otherizations of people based on kind of ethnic backgrounds or like place of birth? Because I feel as though fascism has a bit of a higher bar in the sense that someone has to be inculcated into a society and sort of social propaganda a bit to have these certain views, you know. Like, I think you can be a racist, for example, without believing in some sort of inherent purity of like a native populace to your country or something like that. Like, you need a kind of inherit by symbiosis or by propaganda those views a bit more to get to that point.
Whereas racism...
Well, it's kind of like, I don't know, I was going to say that like I feel as though a lot of people who are racist, they kind of don't, if you kind of compare people to Nazis, I think they kind of mentally zone out a little bit because I think that's sort of like the obviously a key historic example of like fascism, obviously, but also like racism. By using that term, I think they sort of block it out because they're like, oh, of course you'd say that, and then they're not really. I'm a big thinker in like I'm a big believer rather in like convincing people using other avenues without resorting to certain terms, which I think people's minds. The shutters on how open their mind is can be blocked off by certain keywords, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
So, let's say for this new wave of fascism, and we're calling these new Nazis, or what are the neo-Nazis, do we need new labels, or is that still labels, is that the wrong way about it as well?
Was this a Chloe question, or are you just...
This is a James question.
You're just kind of... Okay.
Yeah, I'm just riffing on that.
So you think it's new?
Ooh.
A new form of... Which country? We here?
Just, I guess...
US, globally?
Probably the global thing, probably US-y, global, but it's happening.
Okay.
But, okay, yeah, I guess it's maybe not new. Great question. That's a great...
Well, I think there's been probably a privileging of a certain group in the US since the inception of the United States. I think, it metastasizing into what you call fascism... It's a bit, I think it's very subjective. There's some people who will be like, oh, this is fascism now, or people call the US system like a form of crypto-fascism where your votes don't really matter if it's Democrat or Republican, because even though it changes the internal governance a bit, the general US state is still going to continue a lot of its violent excesses abroad. So in that sense, it's already... might not be outright fascist because you've got the illusion of choice, but I think one thing is that fascism isn't the same. Like, you can't always compare it to one instance of fascism and say, well, that's the fascism definition we have to meet to call something fascism.
Like the Italian fascism versus the Aussie fascism.
Yeah. Like, we're not throwing, throwing rigatoni at people at this point. So
who's rigatoni?
What?
Who's rigatoni?
He's just a muscular guy called Anthony.
Anthony is a rigger.
Yeah, he's a rig of Tony right there.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, look, without getting into, I know the Italians. I know you've been thinking about Jamie Oliver. You're thinking about Italian food. The moment I mentioned the Italian, let's just stay on.
You have to keep me on track. Thank you.
Stay on the subject.
Yeah.
But like fascism, it's always going to have a different flavour, and if you like, I think depending on societies and how it's going to emerge, so like trying to use the same metrics, I don't think is going to necessarily work out,
Right, so we just have to foster the conditions to see what emerges and then flow with that, or...
How long are we going to stick on this one? 'Cause this could...
I'm very interested, as long as I get bored.
Yeah, all right, okay. Or if we're talking about the US... I guess in my mind it comes down to like how we're defining fascism in terms of like governance internally versus what it does abroad, because I think the US government has not had much of an issue with being violent in very excessive ways around the world, in society destroying ways. And that's pretty obvious. I don't think that's pretty... Like, I think that's a bit inarguable if we look at, like, say, the Middle East.
I could argue it. I reckon they haven't heard anyone ever.
Okay, well, I just don't think that's correct.
Okay, fuck, I tried my best.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to argue it.
But that's all right.
Yeah.
But then, like, what other barometers of fascism, I guess, we'll be thinking about? And then... I think it's interesting that the concerns, become more clear when a lot of the violence of the state start to be turned on its internal population, when people start to become really concerned, because that's what's happening with the US. It was not the same with, Germany in the 1930s and World War II, but. That was a bit more of I think an internal out process, but I think more what you see happening with the US is that what they did on the kind of peripheries, imperial peripheries, starting to more and more be used internally, where they're now detaining people within the US and subjecting them to violence, which they were doing Guantanamo or in black sites, in Afghanistan and such. So, yeah, but in terms of like fascism, I don't know. I think the evidence is kind of a bit obvious at this point that it's already occurring, and it's kind of like the more vulnerable groups in society are going to get subjected to it sooner than the more privileged groups in society, and that's an unfortunate process of like eroding outward, where people on the more more protected from this stuff start to go, oh, this is actually really bad, and by the time they realise it's sort of too late.
Let's turn the focus back to home. What are you seeing going on in Australia with things like this?
Well, I mean, in terms of Australia, I feel as though we're far less of a, when you look at the US, much larger population, much more of an eclectic group of people, like in terms of different backgrounds and in more substantial populations and such. I think we're still far more of a white majority country, so I don't think we have the same social issues in many regards
Absolutely.
that the US has. And I think, in terms of Australia being colonised, it was far more of a, for lack of a better word, successful process where there's far more of a majority of white Australians than what were than what remain of native Australians. So in terms of fascism for Australia, though, I don't think we have the same political sort of DNA as the US. I don't think we have that same, as much of a hectic inclination towards, say, authoritarianism and such. But I guess someone could use my own words against me and say that, it's never the same it's never the same emergence every time. You can't compare one rubric to another, as long as it comes definitionally out of those things.
That's Kubrick.
Stanley Rubric. But I don't know about. I mean, I can't. It's harder to speak for Australia. I think especially when the current events are we're more looking at far more concerning developments in the US and in a bunch of European countries. So maybe it makes us look
cool.
Or just look nicer in comparison.
Oh, that's great.
Definitely
at least our image looks nice.
Definitely problems people can look at, but it's just less jarring, I suppose.
Do you like hanging out with your mates?
Do I like hanging out with my mates? Yeah, I'd say, I think so.
Good. What do you like hanging out with your mates?
Oh, just socialisation's nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I've put aside enough time for it,
Oh, well, that's everyone.
I think I'm a decent mix of like introvert and extrovert, but
Doesn't matter.
Especially when you just got all the things on your general life schedule, it's easy to let time pass by, not catching up with people.
What would you like if there was like a thing that you wish like Canberra had to be like, oh, I'd love to go hang out there all the time?
I think Canberra's pretty good for like locales to hang out at. I think the problem with Canberra is that we've got like a critical population of like people who are homebody types. Who are just like, I'm just going to stay at home.
Yep.
And then they said there's nothing to do. They're not going out and doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a cycle.
It's a cycle, even though they're staying at home, which is something to do. Let's put that into song.
Sure.
Yeah, just not a puppet, or you can get another instrument.
Oh, what's this bottle?
That's just an empty bottle.
Oh,
you can use it.
No.
Everything's an instrument.
No, I don't want it. I'm not a poser, dude. I'm not gonna do it, man. I'm not gonna cook. I'm not gonna gimp out your drink bottle, dude. Alright. your home. You say there's nothing to do, but you're not doing anything, you lazy motherfucker. Why don't you leave your home and find something to do? You say there's nothing to do, but you're a lazy motherfucker. Oh yeah. Whoa. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you look pretty stupid. If someone was standing across the road looking at you and what you're doing, they'd say, hey, you complain about nothing to do, but you're not doing nothing. Seems a bit counterproductive. Seems a bit counterproductive.
I just want to go to bed. And I just want to do that outside instead. I just want to go to bed and watch Netflix outside. But I can't go to bed outside because I work a big long day at my job where I don't do much except for cry and sob. And I just wish I could just go to bed. But instead I have to go and drink beers instead.
Oh yeah. You're out drinking beers cause you're sick of work and you're sick of being at home in your bed when it's indoors. You'd rather be out with your friends all in a large bed in the middle of the street where you all drink beers and you chat. I know that doesn't seem very frequent, but maybe we could invest in something where everybody has a bed out in the street. Maybe it's on wheels and you go places and you're like, hey, let's go. We'll go get some good breeze, man. We'll get some good breeze and you hang out with your mates because you got a bed with wheels. And then at 12:30 a.m. you're all really sloshed and you take the bed to the skate park and you go down a ramp and one of them falls off and like breaks his arm and you're like, mine really hurts.
No, stop falling off. Don't fall off. You don't want it to hurt.
Dickhead. Yeah. What's the hurt?
Cool. Great.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Good song.
The sponsor is you. The sponsor is you. The sponsor is you. Give me your money.
And now, back to the show.
Do you like autumn?
I reckon it's. Actually, no. I reckon autumn's a bit of a depressing season. I reckon it's worse than winter.
My word! What a controversial. I mean, I love winter and I love autumn, so I think summer's depressing.
You know, people go like in the passage of life where it's like, oh, baby, spring, you know, summer is your youth, you know, autumn, you're getting older. And winter, what is winter? Is that death or just old age or whatever? I don't think like winter, they clearly see that's evidence of the cop out that you're going, oh, winter, you're not even alive, you're just dead, man. You know, because autumn is the shit part. Autumn's the shit part of life.
Oh, because you're about to die.
Yeah. Because you're going to die and shit. Winter can't just be like death. And you can't put winter anywhere else in the life because the analogy just falls apart.
But then what comes after winter?
What, spring?
Yeah, so you're reborn somehow.
Maybe. Depending on your opinion. But
belief.
You can't be like a baby and you're like, oh, it's winter. Or it's like, oh, you're in the springtime of your youth. You know, and they're like, oh, it's winter right there. Like the analogy just falls apart. But the analogy already falls apart because winter's, oh, you're dead.
Look, this topic seems a little contentious. So, what do you think?
I'm calling out autumn for the bullshit that it is.
I think autumn's beautiful. Autumn is a season of change.
Winter is like recession. The recession we have to have. Tighten your belt vis-a-vis tightening your jacket because it's cold and you got less sunlight. You know, you need to do it because the world is on a tilt and it's oscillating, you know, and you got less sunlight. Just deal with it, fuckface. Whereas autumn is like, it's going to be shit. Autumn has to ease you into it. It's inherently negative. Autumn's just negative. At least winter is like, oh, well, it is what it is, you know?
Is autumn really great? Prospect's good. And you're going to believe this? You're going to not believe your destiny awaits, Rainbow Ball?
I think this is, you've pulled it off somehow. I reckon all the options on that are like...
Oh, look, anyway, let's move on to the next topic, man. So what do you think about, like, bikie gangs and stuff?
I'm not going to let this one go.
No, what do you think about... man, I love bikie gangs. I wish I was a bikie gang. I wish I could sell a bunch of drugs.
I sometimes do get concerned that they extort too much. And maybe do crimes which are too egregious to the local population. I'd like it if they operated in a very like form of vigilante justice, which at least 90% of any given community could unanimously agree was a valid form of vigilante justice, regardless of how violent and extrajudicial it might have been.
Like they could... Like, what could they do, for example? What could they stand up for?
Well, like, say there's some guy at a bar and he's, like, massive drunk and he's got, you know, like 3 baby mamas and he walks out. He doesn't support them financially at all. And he's just got, like, a rotten attitude, you know, like really rude to people in the town and stuff like that. And he's out there at the bar and a bunch of bikie guys are playing pool, you know. So they're all playing pool with their, you know, like strong leathery hands and burly muscular arms covered in skull tattoos. Yeah. And they're all playing pool, and he kind of like he stumbles back because he's giving someone a hard time. He stumbles back, and like bumps into one of them, and they're pretty nondescript, you know. They like they don't give him anything about it, but he turns around and he's like, "Hey, which way you are, dickhead?" You know, and they, you know, 2 of them just force him on the pool table. One of them breaks a cue and just like stabs him to death. Starting with the penile hole. The penile hole.
This is your second novella, correct?
I think they might have read. I think they might have read it, but that wasn't really torture. I don't think that was really torture.
That was just how to stick a pool cue up a penis hole.
Yeah.
Beautiful novel.
I think that was more my how-to guide of brutal deaths and how to do them. A bikie guide, but you know, that I just think most people at the bar in that given vicinity, or just people in that community, would be sort of fine with that guy getting killed in that brutal, illegal, violent way.
All right, well, bikies out there, you heard the message. Stand up for the baby mamas out there, you know.
Yeah, I think what will really like be an interesting thought provoker is if at the end of the story, like if this was say a TV show episode, is that like, you know, people like, oh, thanks, like, you know, thanks, Devil Dave, like, thanks for sorting him out. It was a massive problem, you know, in the community. You know, thanks, you're a hero, you know. And he's like, oh, I gotta get out of here. You know, he gets on his bike and, you know,
rides out to Gympie.
But I don't know, he's going somewhere. He's on the road, brother. It's fucking, who knows where he's going to go. It's the end of the episode. The credits are about to roll.
No, he says, oh, see you later, everybody. I'm going to Gympie. And then he drives.
But everyone goes, yeah, no, he's going to go to Gympie. But they're like, oh, you're going straight there? And he's like, who knows where the road may take me? You know, and he goes, so that's...
And the road, because he's got a GPS, it takes him straight to Gympie because he just types it in.
No, I don't like this.
He just goes to Gympie, he just goes...
Ruining... This is why you're not working on the script for this episode. Because you're not leaving it up to subjective insertions of the viewer.
What was his name
what
again?
He's going to do Devil Dave.
It's like Devil Dave goes to Gympie.
That's David. That's David quotes Devil.
Yeah.
Jameson. Anyway, just let me finish off.
No worries.
So he's got a bunch, but on his phone as he's driving off, he's got a bunch of unread messages because it's early morning on the next day. And
it's from his mum. It says, "I can't wait to see you in Gympie."
Exactly. Can you just let me get? You just keep interrupting because it was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And he never wished her Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
The day before.
Yeah.
So the people think he's a hero. Because starting with the genitalia, he brutally maimed and murdered a man, and everyone loves him. But he's actually the layers of the character is he also couldn't wish his mum Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, we all forgetting that. It doesn't mean that just means he forgot.
But
That's
I think
why
it leaves
he's-
up to the viewer whether, like, is he actually still a good man? Because I think most people would watch that and still think he's a good guy.
Yeah, probably.
You know.
He's like, I've got to. Oh, sorry, I forgot to call. He says, I'm off to Gympie because I forgot to bloody call me mum yesterday.
Because
So.
he turned a morally complicated, you know, man into essentially like a piece of abattoir meat, you know. And,
Yeah.
but, you know, which is contextually good in this story. I wouldn't do it, but it's contextually good.
No, he wouldn't do it. Unless the context.
But also, he did do something far worse, which is his mum, Happy Mother's Day. Maybe his mum is actually in Gympie.
In Gympie or Kimpy?
Gympie.
Oh, maybe he's in a gimp suit.
Or maybe he's in a gimp suit. That's
Yeah.
why you're not riding on the same ebb as me.
All right, do you want to count me in?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want an instrument?
Nah, fuck this.
Yeah, fair enough.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on the road. No GPS. I don't have a GPS. I'm navigating with a guess. Devil Dave.
Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
Devil Dave!
I'm gonna splinter a poop you and shove it straight up your shaft. Gonna split it like a hot dog and stick the other half up your ass.
Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
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 I'm gonna go to the IGA and gonna buy some milk. I'm gonna buy some milk for my mother and some milk.
Oh, hey, Devil Dave. Haven't seen you in ages. Thanks for stopping by the IGA. We're falling on hard times. You know, we had a really malingering fella who had 3 baby mamas and he was causing a lot of trouble and he never paid his bills. Anyway, if you ask Karen how her Mother's Day was, because she's such a lovely lady and she brought you up
shit.
so well.
Oh,
I
shit.
assume you wished her a happy mother.
Oh,
I'll probably put my foot in it now.
Oh,
didn't I?
you
I'm
fuck.
sorry, brother. Oh, fuck. What are you going to do?
Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
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 Oh, beep, boop, boop. Hey, Mum. Oh, I know it was yesterday, but I was sticking a pull shaft to some guy's cock. And I just want to let you know, I'm so sorry, and I just want to wish you Happy Mother's Day. Do you need some milk? Because I've got a bit of milk.
Well, thanks for calling, David. I'm really happy that you followed up, and I know life gets in the way of, you know, responding on the day, but I'm sure you were doing your best, and thanks for showing that man really what to. I bet that would have really served everyone there, and they would have been happy about it. And I'm proud of you too that you resulted.
Mum, you're right.
I need milk.
Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
Devil Dave! Devil Dave! Devil Dave! Devil Dave! Devil Dave!
Devil Dave.
Devil Dave!
A sticker on a stick, a sticker on a stick. Oh, take me back to when I was young with a sticker on a stick. A sticker on a stick, a sticker on a stick. Oh, take me back to when I was young with a sticker on a stick.
Quench your hard-earned thirst with a True Blue James sticker on a stick. Head on over to truebluejames.com to view his range of quality-made organic stickers on a stick. That's truebluejames.com. Tell him James sent you.
Good story.
Yeah, I liked how when I stumbled across my words, we're actually able to metastasize that into his mother's poor health,
Yes.
and the milk tied in as
The
well.
milk tied in. It all ties in.
Provided some
With improv, mate, everything works.
Oh, was that improv? Oh shit! All right. Thought that was something we.
I made it up on the spot.
Thought it was something we negotiated in advance and actually did really poorly. It just made a lot of mistakes.
With improv, a mistake is your mate.
Clearly, you didn't get my email with but that's okay. Never mind. I misread.
With improv, an email is more like a she-mail.
Misread the situation. Are you allowed to use that term still? I don't know if that's actually she-mail.
Like a male from a male from a woman. Are you saying that
some
women
people
can't?
might have an issue. I think some people might have an issue with that term.
If people have an issue with it, they can come bloody straight to me. They can come straight to me.
Will you show contrition when they raise their concerns? Are you just going to be completely pig-headed?
No, I'll keep my clothes on.
I'm just saying. Just generally, I just call everyone that guy.
That guy.
And
I think some people have a problem with that.
I stay out of trouble. Well,
I think some people have an issue.
They can come see me.
They come see you.
And I'll say, I'm so sorry.
I'll say, yeah, that's what I'd say too. I was just trying to rhyme.
If you have a preferred term that you'd like me to refer to you with, I'm happy to adapt accordingly and reflect upon my errors.
Yeah, totally.
Did Chloe have more questions?
Would you like another question from Chloe?
I think so. Because I see that list and I'm sort of.
I've got to read them. Maybe I should just read a random one.
Sure.
At what point do you think being alternative has a positive connotation compared to a negative, and why does society form these different contexts? That's a beautiful question, Chloe.
I think we live in quite a generally, like what you call a liberal society, lowercase l, not referring to any politics, but a liberal society in terms of you should be able to do what you want, be what you want to be and stuff like that. And I think people who are alternate from the norm, we can find things to appreciate in that they're being sort of more rare than others. But it's not always cool. Because there's, people also really appreciate convention and they see someone who's not normal and they want to tear them down a notch.
Yeah.
So...
Why do you think they wanted to tear down convention?
I don't think I'm going to psychoanalyze that.
Okay.
There's got something going on.
Something.
Makes them want to, denigrate them. Denigrate a dude, which I don't know if that's a good thing. But... I don't know if it's always cool, I guess. There's a lot of alternate states of being which are definitely considered almost unanimously not cool. So I think it's all in the eye of the beholder in a lot of cases.
Like growing your own veggies?
You think that's alternate?
Yeah, I think so. I don't do it.
So you think in the agrarian revolution...
I do, yeah.
Of early sedentary human societies...
Yeah.
These guys were being alternative.
I think they're like, well, we're going to have fucking all this. They're sick of Hungry Jacks.
I don't think Hungry Jacks is around at the time.
I'm sure there's a guy named Hungry Jack.
I don't even know.
They're sick of his house.
I just don't think growing your own veggies is that alternative. I guess if you're thinking I live in a suburban sort of thing, I'm going to grow some fucking radish for sustenance.
The fact that you have to think about a vegetable makes it pretty alternative.
I was going to say cabbage, but it just didn't seem right.
I'm pretty glad you said radish, because I don't think you can grow cabbage down this far.
I don't know, man. But I guess that's alternative. But I don't think it's as alternative as what you think it is. I think that's more like a hobby at that point, unless you're doing it for genuine sustenance or something.
What about having a mohawk?
That's alternative.
That's alternative, right?
That's definitely alternative.
What if you're growing your own mohawks?
Can you organically grow a mohawk?
Not organic, no. There's so many GMOs.
It's to be GMO.
Genetically mohawked.
A human with genetics generally has to intervene and shave it into the shape of a mohawk.
Exactly.
So it is inherently genetically modified.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think people who have mohawks are scary, and I worry that they're going to be headbanging to like punk music.
Oh, and you don't like punk music?
As a public servant, I very strongly believe in preserving the delicate fabric of society, and I worry that they'll kind of get, with their ragamuffin behaviour, get into the seams and tear the fabric of society, and that worries me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually work at the anti-punk, anti-hooligan commission.
You are happy to say that on film, by the way, on camera? You have any words for the punks out there?
I'm not going to reveal, like any of our operations.
Well, that would be silly.
But obviously,
Yeah.
as an authority figure, if you are a punk, you will die.
Yeah, okay, great. Hey, I'm not a punk, by the way.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Didn't strike me as a punk either.
No, I'm not a punk. But
See, if you painted your fingernails, I know that's not like a punk thing, but if you painted your fingernails black,
yeah.
especially, you're fucking done.
Well, lucky I don't. Because I've painted my fingernails before and they just chew it off.
We're after the wrong people to try and make them criminals and stuff. Like breaking and entering types, murderers.
Tax.
When there's all these punks out there giving attitude, giving lip.
Yeah.
Goths are fine. They're going through something.
Well, they don't really have threat anyway. They kind of just cringe.
Yeah. Goth. No, I mean, everyone's got a bit of a goth in them. But goths are fine. Okay, you don't agree. That's fine. No. But goths, look. This is a formal government viewpoint. So
that's why it's probably.
This is legislated. So if you disagree, mate, take it up with the tribunal. But punks are the problem. They love anarchism. And I love government.
Which type of anarchism do they like?
They like the no government type of anarchism, which will put me out of a job.
Yeah.
And that's enough to get my jack boots on, get me goose stepping around to just fucking... I don't know. I don't want to go into what we'll do to them.
That's your third novella, which is coming out very soon.
Violent, inherently violent. We'll sort them out.
How to fuck up a punk.
We'll sort them out, yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say? Do you have a question you want to ask me?
Yeah, so how are we going?
Yeah, I've been doing all right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Just going with the creative pursuits.
Just go on with that, see what happens.
Yeah.
Things are all right.
Just keep rolling with it. Do you burn really easily? Like in the sun?
Not in the sun, but in like a furnace.
Yeah, of course. But you don't sunburn really?
Nah, sunburn pretty easily, yeah.
Oh, you do sunburn?
But I say no because I'm pretty good at like sun protection.
Okay.
You find shade and you just don't get the sun touch you.
Okay.
Do I look sunburnt?
No.
Yeah.
I was just kind of just staring at your skin.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I don't want to skin you or anything, but I was just staring at your skin.
Yeah, I could give you my skin if you wanted to as a gift.
Just checking out the lay of the land.
Yeah.
We're seeing what tech deck grooves I can work with.
You tech boy?
No.
Oh, you'd be such a good tech boy.
But I like to contemplate what could be.
Yeah, you'd be so good at tech decks, man.
Like if punks weren't a national security threat. I like to contemplate these things, which aren't the case, but could be.
All right, well, let's have one last song to close us out. And this is a song I like to do, which is it's a song to save the world. If you had any messages that you want to say, there's that song.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and you should play it if you're going to change it.
You got a freaking maraca or something?
Yeah, bro. It's an elephant. Hold on. Hear that? Oh, that.
Yeah, beautiful.
There you go.
Okay.
Remember, this is to save the world.
All right.
What key are we in?
D minor.
Yeah, perfect.
there's a bunch of goths on my lawn. They're not treating it right because they're wetting it with tears.
Stop crying on my lawn.
I know you're going through a lot. I won't tell you to go, but I just want you to know you are loved.
Stop crying on my lawn.
The punks, on the other hand, they're not right. They're tearing up my lawn with their bunched up fists, and they stay up all night.
Listening to God Save the Queen and bloody doing a bunch of heroin and listening to music all day and night.
And they will speak with regional British accents, and they were chatting to each other in the street like, oh yeah, didn't get much sleep last night, but I might go out on town and just get really fucked up. Nah, I don't give a fuck. I didn't even like the police and the government out of my way, and I'll just fucking get fucked up, like neck a bottle of gin and get fucking sloshed and just go out and fucking kick in a window. We'll give you a hard time, but they like get good grades for school. She makes you part of the system, and I don't give a shit. I don't care.
And what if we go down to the pub and have fucking? What if we go? We go down and get a couple of bloody. What if we go down and get a bloody couple of beers? What if we go down and get a couple of beers, get on the piss, and we'll go tell our friends.
God save the Queen. God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
Maybe look up the environment or we stop like hating on each other, because really my anger against the government is actually misplaced rage against my own familial relations and like all my own problems that I've got internally that I don't want to confront. And maybe that's where like I'm actually inadequate and I can work on myself and I can try and integrate a bit more. Nah, I'm just kidding, man. Let's drink some mineral turpentine, yeah?
God save the Queen! Oh, well, thank you so much, Felix, for coming on to James's house. We learned a lot of things today, and I tell you what, I learned a lot of things too. It was so nice to have you on. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel really good. I think we covered some important content, and thanks for giving me this opportunity. And you're a really nice guy.
Thank you, so are you.
Cheers.
And cat.